I think the progress in some areas of the world is amazing. In others, people are talking about that, but it's more or less lip service, and that's not really implementation so far. So I think there has to be done a lot of more discussion, as I said, about the benefits in order to persuade people to kind of attack the challenges, which are kind of connected to the IPSAS implementation without any doubts. If you look at what happens currently in Europe, the discussion around the European public sector accounting standards based on IPSAS, I think that's really a success for IPSAS already. I think there are really some countries which are very advanced. If you look at Australia or New Zealand, these countries probably are very experienced in using accruals-based accounting on one side, but also having implemented IPSAS as New Zealand is currently doing since 1st of January 2014. Looking at Europe, I would say UK probably is a country which is very advanced in the area of public sector accounting, but also France, which has implemented French accounting standards more or less inspired by IPSAS. And lastly, look at the Eastern European countries. After the breakdown of the Soviet Union system, they had to kind of build their systems up from scratch. And they decided to use IPSAS as kind of a best practice at that time. And since 2004, we see countries like Lithuania or Estonia having implemented IPSAS and are very experienced in that field now. I think the implementation of IPSAS has not even started, because we are still in the political debate about the usefulness, the costs and the benefits of harmonized accounting standards in Europe. This event actually is a very important event, again, in terms of the acceptance of internationally accepted standards for Europe. And to answer the question how IPSAS could help solving the solutions in Europe. So we are waiting for a Commission communication of the European Commission at that point in time, and afterwards the next really important step is to publish and issue the framework regulation, which is planned for end of 2015. So that's certainly the most important action point or step, milestone from a legal perspective, because that builds the legal fundament for the standard setting in Europe. I would say if we get the buy-in from the new Commission, and to be honest, we don't have any idea about the position of the new Commission at that point in time. I don't even know whether they had the time to look at the issue already. But if we see the Commission communication by end of this year, then I would be optimistic that 1 year would be sufficient to work on the framework regulation and to publish it and to issue it and get it approved by European Parliament. I would say the most benefit is really for countries which in the past, due to the issues around the sovereign crisis, lost trust of capital markets. Because I think providing transparency on the basis of internationally accepted accounting standards is a means, is an instrument for those countries in order to regain trust by using standards which are accepted, by providing transparency on the basis of these standards, and therefore communicate in a way which capital markets investors do understand and rely on. So I think for these countries it's really the most important step, and where you can see the most benefits. Unfortunately, it is not countries like Germany, which are still on cash basis, but they are very strong, very powerful, and therefore it's their kind of observation that there is no change needed. And I would say we need these strong countries as kind of a front runner and be kind of a role model for the other member states in the European Union, for example, but also globally, using these standards and going ahead in providing transparency. Absolutely. I do see the challenges for a country like Germany, for a huge country like Germany, but it's a fragmented federal system. We have the federal system, we have the states, and we have the local governments. So a lot has happened already on the basis of local governments, and also some of the states already changed and converted to accrual accounting. And they are very interested in the IPSAS and EPSAS developments, but unfortunately the federal level so far hasn't made any steps towards this direction. They are considering it, certainly waiting for the developments around EPSAS, but there could be done more. Absolutely. If Germany would push in that direction, together with the UK and France, I think that would be very helpful.